Started. I'm going to call the September Economic Development UW Extension Committee to order. Madam Clerk, will you roll call?
Jim Schlender. Tom Duffy.
Here.
Jesse Betcher.
Here.
Brian Bissonette. Stacy Hessel.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Madam Clerk, will you compliance with open meeting laws?
The meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.4 of the Wisconsin statutes.
The agenda has been posted. Is there any modifications or changes that we need to make in the committee? You're now moving on to public comment. Is there anybody here or anybody online who's not on the agenda that wishes to address the committee at this time? There would be online. Any hands? No. Moving on to number 6. Approval of the minutes from the previous meeting, so the August committee meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
I got a motion from Mr. Duffy, second from Ms. Hessel to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Any no discussion, call for a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. Moving on to number 7, Surrey County Agricultural Fair Association report.
Rick Christian, Surrey County Fair President. I give you the numbers from the last 6 years. This year's fair was by far the best that we've had in quite a while. For the first time in quite a while, we had no rain. It was a little warm, but everything worked out great. We're working on some different changes for next year for kind of a bigger draw, and still working on trying to get our capital improvements done. We waited on doing some of the stuff because the material was so high. It makes sense to try and spend twice as much money to get material for our horse stalls. But it's just a constant trying to improve whatever we can, so make the fair grow.
How did you meet your budget?
What's that?
How was your budget?
We, I believe we came in under budget for what we were planning. There were some bills that we weren't 100% sure on, so we had, but I believe that once they all came in, we're under our budget.
Any questions?
How do we compare size to other counties like Washburn, Rusk, and Bayfield?
We're pretty small compared to like Bayfield and Washburn. We're probably pretty comparable, but I'm not sure about Rusk. Those are numbers I can get for next time.
We're better. We're better.
I know we're quite a bit smaller than Bayfield.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you for your report. Moving on, UW Extension Department report.
I think, well, Lori will not be able to join today, but
She's online.
Oh, is she? Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Ariga. Go ahead with clean sweep. I know that you were going to talk about that,
Oh,
and then I'll jump in for other things.
okay. So for this month, we have the clean sweep coming up, and I have the sheets. We are scheduled, the last one on the clean sweep schedule for September 22nd at the fairgrounds from 2 to 4 or 6. I don't remember. Yeah, till 6. So if you would like to spread the word, or if you have anything yourself, you'd like to bring some specialized items. I have to ask Sheldon if you have anything in mind, and we don't know whether it's taken or not, because they freelance a third party and we have to run it through them first. Otherwise, it's scheduled. We're getting the phone calls, and I guess people are loading their trucks to bring it over.
You had any reports from the farmers market? It looks like they're doing well.
I don't have any reports, but it looks like they're doing well, and their hours were new this year from 1 to 6. I heard they're going to switch them back from to older hours. I think it was from 11:30 to 4. I think maybe they're not getting the crowd they wanted. So, and maybe the hours closer to 6 are already kind of not very popular to say so. They switched the hours back this fall till 4. They used to be till 6. I think it doesn't really get them the crowd after 4 o'clock. And I think they were targeting primarily working people, but they're not probably people just go home and have dinner. They don't offer any food. But I think the location is pretty good. Parking is a bit. They try to find more locations for parking. It's a little bit different parking slots. It's not centralized, but I think generally they have more vendors this year.
Yeah, I think the location is
It's
good.
really good.
Any questions for Ariga? Laura, you're up.
All right, thank you. So greetings from Barron County. There's a committee meeting here this morning too, and needed to be here for some budget things. But so I'm thankful for the opportunity to Zoom in with you today. And just an update, we are, as you may remember from last month, Sky has moved on to a different position in Pierce County. And so that 4-H and community youth development position is currently open. I am trying to get some input from various people about who do we want to make sure gets invited to a visioning session when it comes to youth for Sawyer County. And so I don't know if you want to take any time this morning or give me any other names to make sure that they get invited. We are hoping to do a visioning session yet this month, probably middle to the end of the month, of just what our community, what are Sawyer County's needs when it comes to community youth development and 4-H. So as a reminder, 4-H is a small part of the position just because there aren't a lot of 4-H and people enrolled in Sawyer County, but we certainly want to grow that program, but also the second part of that position is that community youth development part. So I certainly am interested to hear if there are names that you say these people need to be at this visioning session, including any of you. If you want to make sure you get the invite and want to have a voice at the table, I'll need to know because we'll be finalizing the date soon and sending information out to people. I don't want to exclude anyone that needs to be at the table, so I certainly appreciate any of your suggestions.
I think it would be important to invite the fair board just to, because you guys work hand in hand together.
Mm-hmm. So anyone in particular on the fair board that you would like?
The full board would be important.
The full board? Is that what you
Full
heard?
board, yeah, the full
Okay.
fair board.
Thank you. Who else? Is there anyone from this committee that would like to make sure that they're there?
Who would you like there?
Everyone? Anyone who really feels like they have kind of a finger on the pulse of what youth development looks like in Sawyer County and what the needs might be, and to make sure that they can bring that voice forward.
Is there anybody at the school? If you send it to Mr. Olson at the school, he can send it out to teachers that might be interested.
Okay, thank
You
you.
could put and send it to Jessica Hutchinson. She could probably relay that for the tribe as well.
All righty. Okay, well, we were just hoping to cast the net. It's been a while since we've done a visioning session. We did not do one before we hired Sky because we had a pretty good feeling for what we needed to hire at the time with the transition of a family living educator, and which was my old position, and just knowing the county, but I know that things have changed over the years. And so we want to make sure that we know what the needs are so that we can create the job description to then hire the right person. So it's a process, but if you have anyone else in mind, feel free to reach out and let me know. Thank you so much.
All right, any questions for UW Extension? Jesse, you got any questions?
No, sir, I don't.
All right, moving on to number 9, Hayward Lakes Visitor Convention Bureau.
Okay, I submitted a report. A month goes really fast. It doesn't seem like we've been really busy. But anyway, I wanted to show you that people are starting to get worried again about this Delta variant. And so tourists are worried about traveling again. But the good news is we didn't affect us last year, and it probably won't again this year just because we have so many outdoor activities. But I did want to let you know kind of the study they just did with Destinations Wisconsin that people are starting to fear traveling again. So just to kind of give you a heads up on that. We've been super busy. We're doing a website redesign. If you've ever done a website redesign, you know how time consuming that is. And so we've been working on that and should launch, I think, by October 1st. I also have been writing a ton of my time this last month has been writing grants. I submitted a second year for our snowmobile grant. And then I don't know if you guys heard that we've got this destination marketing grant that is due at the end of the month. And if my calculations are right, we could qualify for almost 89,000. So I'm working on that. And I did receive a small tourist information center grant. So anyway, that's what I've been consumed with doing. And then I thought I'd give you a little more information on these adventures, because these are very time consuming for us as well. And it just gave you a little more explanation on how they look to the consumer. So we just had somebody here. I guess this one's not on there because it just got, I didn't put it on here. But anyway, so like this is, it shows you where they went, how long it takes, what you should bring. Like this one, you should bring food for a picnic, a camera, sunscreen, camping gear if you want to go camping. And then it just kind of shows you how long it takes. I gave you a little more information because it has maps on there on how long it takes to get from one place to the next. Like if you're at Wilderness Walk and then you're going to go to the Big Fish, how long it'll take and stuff. So, and we're doing 32 of those in a year. So that's what we've been doing. Any questions?
Questions for Ms. Beckman? Hearing none, moving on to number 10, Northwest Regional Planning Commission report. Sheldon, are you with us?
I sure am. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody today? Okay, we'll give you a quick update as well. I did not provide any written report, rather just give you a quick verbal report this month. So I wanted to touch base with you in regards to the Wisconsin Tomorrow Main Street program, the bounce back program. So I made a comment last meeting that it would be rolled out in later August, which it was. To date, we've got 135 inquiries across the 10 counties. We've got 47 applications in-house that we will be approving this week. Of those 47 applications, 12 are from the Sawyer County area. Those entities or those businesses will receive $10,000 grants. So we had a total of 14 applications. We're currently reviewing 2 of them for eligibility purposes yet, with determination to be made in a couple of days probably. So of the 12 applications that we'll be awarding this week, the majority of them, or actually all of them, are in the Hayward area. So we need to do a little more outreach to the villages and the communities in southern Sawyer County to make sure that they're aware of the program. So, I know, Mike, if you haven't yet reached out to some of those folks down there, please continue to do so. And we will do the same as well for that. So again, it's 10 grand. to businesses that are new and existing businesses opening a new location or expanding operation in a vacant commercial space on or after January 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. So it's an open program. There's no deadline for application. So if you know of a business that is moving into a new place or expanding, let them know, and we'll provide some funding assistance to them if they meet the program requirements. Ariga talked about the HHW program coming up here at the end of September. Appreciate that, Ariga. And I'll be connecting with you in the next couple of days just about some logistics and some other planning stuff. So Veolia Environmental Services will be the vendor that we'll be using for the site. They'll have all the equipment, the trucks and staff to operate that program from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Just wanted to update you on the Sand Lake Food Pantry. Continuing to work with Hal Helwig and Mark Helwig on that project. They have ordered food from Feed My People out of Eau Claire, so they've already got one distribution in. I believe they'll be receiving another one this week or next, and they plan to be opening the facility in Stone Lake very soon. And then lastly, just wanted to give you a recap on the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, or WEDC. If you recall, in the last year or so, WEDC provided what they called their, what was it called, Sheldon? It was called the We're All In Small Business Grants. They provided 3 different funding phases, phase 1, 2, and 3 for small businesses. WEDC provided, has on their website, if you take the time to go find it, all of the businesses that were funded through all 3 phases. Maybe this is information you're already aware of, but under the WEDC We're All In program, Sawyer County received, Sawyer County-wide, there were 292 awards that were made to businesses in Sawyer County. They ranged in funding awards from $2,500, $5,000, or $20,000 awards. So out of the 292 awards, the total funds distributed to Sawyer County businesses was $1,124,400. That went to businesses for their use under their eligibility requirements. So that was pretty impressive. As a region, under the 10 counties, the total amount was $9,054,400 across the 10 county region. So Sawyer County was 3rd highest as it relates to total funding by county in the area. So just a little more information for you on that. And we continue to work with partners in the region, including Mike and others, on the $100 million workforce development grant program. Crystal Rohde in the office through our Visions Northwest and the Regional Planning Commission group are continuing to explore and look at that program. With that, that's all I have for verbal comments, if there's any questions.
Any questions for Sheldon? So Betcha, do you have any questions for Sheldon?
If you were asking me, I'm sorry, I don't have any questions.
All right. Thank you for your report, Sheldon.
All right, thank you.
Moving on to number 11, Economic Development Corporation report.
Good morning. It's been a busy time. As Sheldon and Sherry have applied the bounce back program that Sheldon, I was pleased to hear 12 Sawyer County grants went in. The EDC provided direct assistance and letters for half of those. So I'm glad to hear that those are moving along. A lot of these businesses will really benefit from that funding, which is fairly flexible on what they can use it for, and will make a big difference certainly in the off season for these many cases new businesses. Sheldon also mentioned the Workforce Innovation Grant. Been working with Crystal at Northwest Regional and a host of regional partners. That the early information that came out in that program is that they preferred regional collaborations. The final guidelines will be coming out later this week. That could change where we could get our own grant going in that regard, but I've attended 2 partner meetings online, and I attended a regional roundtable in Ashland, of which the head of WEDC was there, and Senator Bewley and stuff. So that's in play. Certainly monitoring that to find the right piece that works for Sawyer County. Some of the things under early consideration are some talent attraction marketing that could happen, and hopefully would dovetail with other marketing in the county. And childcare obviously is rising to the top. We'll see exactly how that works. I need to do some more research on the current status and what would be desirable for our county and communities. I mentioned last month to you the federal American Rescue Plan programs roll out, and on each one of that categories, programs under that would really affect Sawyer County, been reaching out and developing partnerships, getting input to find how to best utilize each one of those. It's sort of like a brokering of what's the best place to plug and play. And I'll be meeting like on the travel, tourism, and outdoor rec, which is an obvious choice. I have a meeting scheduled with Sherry and Chris and Don to find out what some of our needs are and how that piece might fit. The specific indigenous community ones I've made in the last month significant gains in a relationship with the Planning Grants Department at the Couturier, working with them on providing some technical assistance to a grant in play that'll affect their tribally owned properties. We're looking forward to a busy next couple months. We have just finalizing the details for hosting a small community forum, which WEDC and others hold in 4 communities every year. So that would be, it's targeted for October 26th. We'll have details out as they're finalized, but that would bring WEDC to town, USDA Rural Development, Wisconsin Rural Partners, League of Wisconsin Municipalities, Wisconsin Downtown Action Council. There will be a session here in Hayward that people can come interact with them, which I think the timing of it is better than most years, just because of all of these programmatic opportunities to get to have them hear about our needs, our opportunities, and how they can best support them. We're looking forward to our annual meeting scheduled for November 4th. We've finalized details for a speaker, which I think is very timely as well. It's Brittany Byer from Grow North Regional Development, the next development region to our east. She, among a number of statewide designations on committees, she is selected by the governor as a chair for the Rural Broadband Task Force. So we'll have here and hear some of those more statewide and regional efforts we can work with, and work with Visions Northwest, which is our regional component. We're still working at finalizing the tribal tour, which would bring the Economic Development Administration and other agencies to LCO, looking at October 12th or 13th for that. I did include in the report this month a press release that I haven't seen in the local paper yet, but at the end of August, culinary reentry program sponsored in partnership with the Northwest Regional Investment Board in the Sawyer County Jail, working with Justice Point, the jail staff. I'll get an update later this week on it. It just started on the 28th, but the report I got, the minute they announced it at the jail, 25 participants signed up. Of course, there's a screening and, some things like that. They had really targeted 12 highly qualified people who could take advantage of that. But it does show that there was an interest, and hopefully the next month have some better details. We're also looking forward to, the Economic Development Corporation will co-host a business after hours event with Backroads Coffee on October 28th, and you'll all be invited to that. On another item, we have been in consultation a number of times, as has Tom, with the potential for a large development. We're in consultation with them that would be located here in Sawyer County. Hopefully, specific details will be able to be announced more formally in the coming weeks and months. But it would be if it pans out, it will be a significant economic driver in our community. I think that's all I have for today. There's a lot going on, and just wading through the state, where the best state opportunities are, where the best federal opportunities, where the best partnerships are. We need to leverage these opportunities, and it takes maintenance.
Any questions for Mr. Gardner? Thank you for your report. Moving on to number 12, motorized trail and non-motorized trail report. Mr. Rotek.
And as I've been saying, still been very busy, both motorized trails and silent sports trails. Been a lot of traffic up here all summer long. Along with that, I'm going to get in a little bit of economics, what money coming into the area here. Our snowmobile trails, we get grants for $114,000 every year. This past year, we had good snow up here, or fair snow in the northern part of the county. Southern part was a little slow. We put in for an extra $37,000 worth of grooming money going out there. ATV grants, we get a regular $135,000 maintenance every year on this. Now, Sawyer County does not, the county itself does not put money into the trail systems or the logging roads. There's not a budget item for those items. Basically, our money coming in that's needed for the trail system is coming out of administrator fees. You know, the time that the county forest administrator puts in there, but otherwise there's no money put aside for the logging roads. The county does have an agreement with the DNR. They do some bulldozing out there. Otherwise, the loggers do some work out there when they're doing logging for different projects. But otherwise, CAMBA donates a lot of time out there, money. Berkey puts in a lot of time, and that's all volunteer time. They get some grants, and then of course our snowmobile and ATV grants. So we're reimbursed from the snowmobile and ATV program. Like I said, we get regular maintenance money. And last week, the DNR had a funding meeting, and we had Sawyer County put in for some extra funding for that. So we were awarded funding for it. It still has to be approved by the DNR, but 2 grants down the Tuscobia Trail for over $230,000 to rehab the Tuscobia Trail. So funding's been approved. The DNR still has to agree with everything on there. And then LCO, we put in for some funded miles of ATV trail on the LCO. We've been looking at it for quite a while. Funding has been approved for that, for 9 miles of LCO trail. So we're getting a lot of money coming in from this. This is not tax money. This is coming in from registration of snowmobiles and ATVs. So a lot of money coming in from both the users and to pay for the trail system, work on the trail systems.
Just a point, never ever say that at county board meeting. You're always understaffed and underfunded. Mr. Betcher, do you have any questions for Mr. Motorized?
Yeah. Hey, Don, can you clarify on the, you mentioned the Berkey, what are they donating money, or is it just time? I didn't realize they helped out with ATV and snowmobile trails. Can you clarify on that?
Not on the snowmobile and ATV trails, but on their trails themselves. You know, the time that they put in out there, they put a lot of work. The groomers are $230,000 for a new groomer out there, $250,000. So they put a lot of time into maintaining those trail systems, both summer and winter out there. So they're not doing our trails, but the silent sports trails are maintaining.
Mr. Betcher,
Okay.
we did receive a written update from Mr. Duffy on the Berkey's contributions, and maybe Tom can forward that email to you.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you for your report. Moving on to number 13, Historical Society update. I don't have an update, and I don't know what we can really do for a group that, I mean, they seem to be busy, but I don't know what we can do. So. It is- There's moral support.
They did say, I did ask them how they are staying busy. They said they've been getting a lot of requests for information on the Chippewa flowage for the 50-year anniversary.
Right.
So they're trying to make information available as they get requested. So a lot of back scenes work. I don't know how much visitors they're getting, but it seems like they're busy on the backside of it.
And Kinnaman is, I mean, I talked to them about it, and there's just, they always say they're interested, but I can't get any action from them on what that interest, how it would materialize. So just wait for the next request. All right, moving on to number 14, future agenda items. Is there anything that the committee would like to discuss for next month's meeting?
Mr. Chairman, some years ago, we talked a lot about the nursery. But what's happened with the nursery?
The
They
nursery?
took it over and is it
What nursery are we
operating or
talking
is it
about?
what?
The forest nursery,
Oh, Forest Nursery? Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Well, we can, want to put that on the agenda?
I don't know who would know. what's
The
going on.
DNR nursery, Tom?
Our nursery, yeah.
Yeah, I've made inquiries over the last year or so regarding that, the use of that. I think that there are some parts of it that get utilized periodically as a distribution area for different things. When you
Tom,
look,
if you just want to take a look at that and see if that's something we want to put on for next month's agenda. Mr. Betcher, do you have anything you want to put on for next month's agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, moving on to number 15, correspondence reports from conferences and meetings, other matters for discussion only. Committee members, do you have anything you wish to discuss with the committee?
So the Berkey gives us the report, but we don't have them on the agenda.
Right, they're under the non-motorized trail report.
Got it. Thank you.
Mr. Betcher, you got anything you wish to share?
Not at this time. Thanks, Mr. Slender.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.